My name is Anders Alning, and I represent a company called Ekkono Solutions, and we do machine learning for IoT. And I have the great honor of having Jan Ackalin with me here. Last year, he had a man cold, so I'm really happy that he managed to come this year. After all, this is like a matching event, so do you want to know how we first met? Yes, or? Yes. Okay. So to be able to tell that story, you have to go all the way back to, we get into the DeLorean and we go back to 2017, April. And we at Ekkono just started a couple of months earlier, and we get this epic mail from Stina. And the mail says, "Hi, I'm Stina." I think she had us already there, but it continues. And it says, in this very Swedish, humble way, it says, "We at Things just started this thing called Ignite, and we're going to have an event where we have a lot of large corporations who wants to meet startups." And then she says, and this is like fantastic, "Do you think that it might be a match between you and the following?" And hold on to your seats, I'm going to tell you which companies she suggested. ABB, Siemens, Alfa Laval, Saab, Volvo, Combitech, Securitas, amongst others. So John and I had to sit down, take a deep breath and think, should we entertain this thought or not? And after 2-3 seconds, we said, no, we should go, right? So there we met Alfa Laval, and birds started to sing, I guess.
Why did you say, I guess?
Well, because there are 2 fun facts to that meeting. The first fun fact is that, and that's really great for us, 3 of the companies who are on this list that I just read for you are actually customers now of Ekkono, so that's what we're very proud of. The second fun fact is that nor John nor I were present in that meeting. So that goes to show that you really have to sort of align on different, not levels, but maybe on different functions in companies, and you have to work together really closely for something to happen.
Maybe start of success is not having us on board.
Maybe. Where's the clicker? I don't have the clicker.
Imagine click.
Okay, so this is Jan going up a wall.
A couple of years ago.
And the whole story is about speed it, scale it, sustain it. And we want to talk about all these, mainly scaling it, because that's where we are right now after a number of POCs. So this is John on his motorbike. And April, and then we go after summer, we start a POC. So that's pretty fast for a startup even to move to a POC. What's speed for you, John?
I mean, Alfa Laval, we're a company with like 17,000 people, and we're doing mechanical products, and we see this digital transformation all around. So for us, speed is taking the digital transformation and kind of eating it. Because of course, I mean, we need to be part of the future, not only the history. So therefore, speed for us, we're working with companies like yourselves and try to get into a different clock speed totally.
Did you manage to do that?
I think we're on it.
I think you are. Then if you talk about scale it, we at Ekkono, we follow this industry standard called CRISP DM, and it starts out with business understanding. So we sit down with the customer, we do some business understanding together, and what we want to achieve there is to see where do we have the use cases that are has a big business impact for the company, but has sort of a medium complexity. We don't want to go after the hardest ones because it's going to take a long time. The easiest one they can do themselves. So medium is good for us. I think you thought about this, but rather from a risk-reward type of angle.
Yeah, you know, this is actually one of the slides I like, or the picture, because it's simple enough for me to understand, and it's still a clear message. It's a picture taken out of the book Art of War, actually the visualization done by Susan Hagi. But the story goes like, you know, the things, if you go for the point down to the right, high risk, no reward, those are the things that corporates doesn't do. And we're quite good at not doing stuff. Then we have the things with high reward and low risk. That's the things we have done since forever. I mean, that's basically why we're a successful company. But in my position and talking about this with digital transformation, working with all of these things, and then management say, we want to do artificial intelligence. a bit like PowerPoints, and you should hire your data scientists and all this. And I felt like this is really telling a story. Don't go alone. Find some kind of partners. Find people that have passion. Find people that know stuff that you don't do, and do things together with them. And I think that's why we, Alfa Laval, like companies like yourself, because you have a passion, you have a purpose, and you're doing stuff that we're not good at yet.
Wow. Okay.
I'm humble.
You are, and that favors you. So when it comes to machine learning, it sounds really cool, but it's really nothing if you don't have, or if you don't combine that with some good domain knowledge. We at Ekkono can never have domain knowledge about everything that ABB does or everything that Alfa Laval does or anything like that. So we need that domain knowledge to make that machine learning together with the data sing. Without domain knowledge, we're really nothing. And you've looked at this from sort of where you can create value with AI within your organization.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, I talked about the company being around for a long time. We're probably best in the fields that we're working in, and that also goes for the domain knowledge we're having. So when we started this journey on digital transformation, or whatever you want to call it, we basically said, what's the values that we can deliver? And it takes some time to really understand how can we deliver what we say connectivity-enabled services. And how can we add the functions and the features that AI and machine learning can bring to this? And this super simple slide basically describes the 4 fundamental values that we have found. And maybe some of them are also relevant for you. But basically, there's a need for making sure that we bring better uptime to our customers. Like having a decant application in a wastewater plant delivering towards the SDG 6, you need to make sure that that machine works all the time, because otherwise the customer will get the problem. Another thing, taking the same example, actually wastewater plant doesn't make money. In most places in the world, there's no income. It's more about minimizing the cost. And if we can do predictive maintenance, if we can do prepared service intervals, if we can order spare parts in right time, it will reduce the cost for our customers. The mission statement of Alfa Laval is to optimize the performance of our customers' processes, time and time again. So cost is of course important. Yield is also something we believe we can offer with help of these type of technologies. Like if you happen to have a brewery, and you do beer, there's some beer left in the yeast, and actually don't want to dispose that. You really want to squeeze the last liter of beer out of the yeast. So of course, if we together with machine learning and other technologies can increase the yield, that's giving a benefit to our customers. And as it states here, we are having a similar business model. We're not giving these values away for free. So we partner with companies like Ekkono because they deliver value to us, and we offer similar values to our customers. So in that sense, we also act as a startup.
Perfect.
Another, and the fourth, of course, I mean, in some areas we're really helping customers to meet legislation. Take, for instance, on the 7 seas, there's a lot of ships going, throwing sulfur up in the air. We do exhaust gas cleaning systems. And we can offer customers the fact that we can show that they've not violated the local law or the local legislation on all places across the 7 seas with analytics and machine learning. For us,
Sorry.
Another thing with Scale It is also for us to work with a solution like Ekkono's that suits perfectly for our engineers, because we have a large number of really good engineers, just not in your space. So using your technology will help us to scale it as well.
Perfect.
Over to you.
Thank you, sir. So last but not least, now we're scaling it, but there is something more, like Steve Jobs used to say, sustain it. And this for us, for both of the companies, is quite important. I was absolutely blown away. The first project we did with Alfa Laval was around detecting foulings, dirty plates on a heat exchanger. And by looking at temperature and pressure, we could actually say what level of fouling was on the heat exchanger. Now, Anders Neander, I don't know where you are, but
Over there.
he gave it to me, this slide to me, which means that if you would use machine learning type technology on all heat exchangers in the world, you could actually affect the CO2 emissions by up to 2.5%. And this is important for two reasons. One reason is that you want to go to work and feel good about what you do. There's some greater good there, right? But the second one, for a company growing like Ekkono is, then we need to attract talent. And I can tell you today, attracting talent, this is really important. It's not all about the money. It's also about having an effect on sustainability. So that's important for us. And I think that's the same for you.
Truly is. And I mean, I'm super proud to be being part of Alfa Laval. And I see the purpose of what we're doing. And it's actually true that we're delivering towards 15 out of the 17 SDGs. And that's for me, it's awesome. I mean, that gives me passion and purpose. And we also like people to join us and Alfa Laval because, of course, I mean, get on the journey with us. Even though we're big, we're getting fast too.
Yeah. Okay, so last thing here, last slide. This is me and Jan when we started out. Now we got some more gray hair and stuff. Grew up a bit.
2017.
Let me just give you some conclusion. It's real fast. First one, don't go alone use cases. Where are you supposed to work together? It's not just working together. Where are you destined to work together? Second one is, as I said in the beginning, to engage cross-functional. There's no way you can make business going, and especially not scaling it, if you don't engage with large portions of the organization. It's not a two-man band, even if it seems so sometimes. And this one is really dear to me. Work at industrialization or rollout from day one. Have that in mind. Don't just be happy that you got a POC, because that's really great, but it's not gonna expand your business. You have to think about and talk about with the customer constantly. How are we going to industrialize this? And that's where Jan and I've been discussing for a long time, and I think we're reaching some good conclusions, right?
And also the fact, I mean, me in the role I'm having, I can also help startups to navigate the ecosystem of Alfa Laval, how to pilot between the 13 different business units.
Great. I think we're doing great on time as well.
I think so too.
We talked about domain knowledge. It's absolute king. And we can cut some corner because machine learning can only do so much. But when we get the combination between the experts on Alfa Laval understanding exactly how this machine works with what the algorithms tells us, then we can really make it sing. And that's quite important.
And we can bring the experts.
And you have the experts. You have people who can touch the machine and knows exactly what it's all about. And this is yours for sure.
Thanks. And one of the things I see, I mean, we have also worked with a number of startups, and it's all about matchmaking. But one thing that I believe is super important is that find partners with the speed that you would like to have. And for me, it's more like I am coming from a startup world, the corporate world, and I see that startups almost always are faster than us. And I like to work with startups that push us a bit to give us a better clock speed. So therefore, find a startup with the speed that you would like to have.
Well, and last but not least, use this matchmaking organization. It's good with the flirt, go on. For us, as Ekkono, I mean, we're proud to be Swedes because there's so many things here. We have our friends from Synleap over here. We have Mobility X Lab or CampX.
You have 5 seconds left.
And we work with Fleer, for example. So there's a lot of things going on, and I think Swedish companies are really good at that. But the mother of them all, Stina, long live Ignite.
Thank you so much.